is happening on your screen. Introducing VOP TV. Now streaming on SLTV channel 264. From breaking news to captivating conversations, news analysis, giving you all sides to the story. We bring in-depth discussions on the issues that matter, from politics to sports, entertainment, and lifestyle. VOP TV on SLTV channel 264. Join us as we redefine what television means to you. Voice of the People Television, VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice. VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice.
The topics that matter most to you and I, from social justice to economic empowerment, education to healthcare, governance and more, tackling tough topics and amplifying your voice. Join the conversation and make your voice count. The people's voice. Make your voice count. The red carpets, awards, the razzmatazz, music, fashion, interviews and more. Spotlight on Voice of the People Television. Let's feed you with all the juicy stories in the global entertainment space, bringing you the glitz and glamour as they hot. Stay tuned to Spotlight, 1 p.m. Monday to Friday. Spotlight on VOP TV. Entertainment like never before.
In a world where power shifts with every headlines, news breaks and events happens, we bring you unbiased and explicit information on politics, economy and state of the nation. We break down the chaos. Facts, not fluff. Truth, not spin. We discuss not just politics, but a glimpse into the future. Voice of the People Television.
Well, thank you very much for joining us. This is Newspaper Review. I am Moses Humphrey.
And I am Chukwuma. Thanks for joining us again.
And we have Barrister Darlington joining the conversation as well this morning. Barrister, good morning once again.
Yes, once again, it's a pleasure.
All right, then. So now let's dive into it. Let's look at the headlines. And I would like to start off with the Guardian newspaper. They have these headlines here. Decades of trade deals fail to wean Nigeria of crude oil dependence. Decades of trade deals fail to wean Nigeria of crude oil dependence. Let's look at the riders because they provide a better understanding. The riders, non-oil exports remain around 10% despite multiple trade deals. Data reveals weak competition, not access. Repeated Naira devaluation mask decades of poor export growth. AFCFTA, AGOA, and UK trade schemes deliver little for manufacturing. Experts warn new UAE deal may follow old pattern. Well, those are the headlines, and that's the big story on the cover page of the Guardian newspaper. Well, let me go to the barrister. Barrister, maybe I should read a little into this before you take your reaction to it. So, despite 2 decades of being handed, well, this is basically an editorial. So, this editor just talks about, the crude oil dependence of Nigeria and the deals that have gone under in that sector, and the fact that we're still grappling with breaking even in that sector. Barrister.
Because The real people have not been involved in the oil industry in Nigeria.
The real people.
The real people who know this job. It has always been cut and nailed. You remember the past two presidents and Obasanjo, they were Minister of Petroleum. They were Minister of Petroleum. And they know nothing about oil industry. They know nothing. Nothing. And so what do you expect them to contribute to it? Nothing. That is the real problem here. Over the years, that place has been bedeviled by tribal and ethnic sentiments. Let my own person be there, whether he can do the job or not. And the man will go there and loot the place and mess up the place. Why not invite a core professional, even if they mean bringing them from abroad? Let them manage this thing. Because, for example, now, we don't know how many liters of fuel government is subsidizing for Nigerians in a day. It's all about speculations and guesswork. And that's because they want the corruption to continue. They want it to continue. Meanwhile, Saudi Aramco is making a hell of money from the oil industry. The Saudi Arabia you hear today, it is this same oil that has kept them, whereby their people don't pay tax. Is it not oil money? It's oil money. So it is because we have not brought the real professionals into that industry. And you cannot give what you don't have. It's not possible. That's just the simple truth. And then government itself have not even invested. We depend on the oil major to come and manage our natural resources. Foreign oil companies, they bring in the equipment to mine our oil. So why can't government buy all this equipment, install it, then train our professionals to do this work? They cannot. They prefer this cut and nail. This cut and nail they are doing with oil majors, joint venture corporation or whatever. That's what they are doing. Is easier. Nigeria like the easy way out. Let the oil company bring out the whatever they give us, we take it. They will take the rest. What for? Those equipment they are using, we can contract any company to give it to us. And we can be independent, but they don't want it. I don't know why. The natural resources is our own. It's from our oil. It's our soil. So why can't you dictate the pace? Who is mining that of America? Who is mining their oil? Is it not Americans? That of Saudi Arabia. Is it not Saudi Arabians? And a few...
Nigerians still are mining ours now.
So you have joint venture in this thing. No, tell me. This JVC you are talking about, if you are mining, why come the JVC? How come? We are not the one in control of that industry. The oil majors they are listening. They said they want to invest $20 billion now. Shell. Is it for your own good? It's for their own good. It's for their own good. You can imagine a place where 210 trillion naira was stolen or missing. You can just imagine how much have gone down the drain before this one was discovered. It's so sad, seriously.
So sad, indeed.
Well, the issue about our oil industry, our oil sector, is pathetic. We and I have talked about this for... we talked about it a few days ago where we were contemplating, well, this resource that we have that has turned to a cost. But we are not alone in that. And we traveled around the world and saw places where they have a lot of resources, yet they are living in penury, places like Venezuela, places like DR Congo, in places like Sudan, where you have a lot of money, a lot of resources underneath, but the people are wallowing in poverty.
Okay.
So our own problem here is that we are gifted in terms of the capabilities, to harness all of these things. If you look at the oil companies operating in Nigeria, you discover that Nigerians also have the best hands. We have very beautiful engineers trained both locally and abroad. I have encountered a few of them, when I had a stint in the oil industry. So the problem is from the top. The problem is at the top. It is issues of policy. We have still not been able to win because the headline says we've not been able
Factor
to.
the PIA.
The win to PIA that took us 10 years, the back and forth, the corruption that was even, embedded in the PIA and all of that. Because people were taken to Ghana, some were giving money, some said no, they didn't give us money and all of that. At the end of the day, it was signed into law. So are we operating it now? First, there's this question you keep asking. Why should a regulator be an operator in the industry? I'm
telling you.
But talking of winning ourselves of oil dependence, it speaks about diversification. Before the oil, we had agriculture, we had the pyramids.
Of course.
We had the cocoa, we had the palm oil. It was palm oil process that was used to build the University of Nigeria.
Awolowo did wonders.
Awolowo did wonders. Look at the cocoa house in Ibadan. It still stands very tall. Look at the University of Ife. Look at the University of Lagos here. All of those things. Look at ABU, Zaria, built from process of groundnut, palm oil, and cocoa. And we abandoned all of those things, when the oil money came. Like I said the other day, the first time I heard the word diversification was in my secondary school when we were talking about economics. And that's over 40 years ago.
Yes.
Over 40 years ago, and we are still trying to diversify. Every minute we are trying to diversify. One government comes and we make policies, in that direction. What are we going to do? And we have, unfortunately for us, we have foreigners that want to help us. You have the AGOA, the AGOA, that was put in place by America for non-oil exports. We have the AFTA, African Continental Free Trade Agreement. We have ECOWAS, or the trade protocol, the movement protocol, and all of that. Yet we've not been able to take advantage of these opportunities because every month we run to Abuja. My state commissioner, of finance uses 20 million naira to go get how much in Abuja? And when we asked, he said yes. So what is wrong with that? And everybody keeps short. So because he goes every month to Abuja to collect our own FAC, whatever they get at the local level, because growing up in my state, also driving to high school, we had passed through farm settlements, that were producing food for people. My uncle was even involved in one of them, And so we abandoned all of these things. And now when we get money from the federation account, and we pay salaries, says, oh, the governor has paid salaries.
The governor has paid salaries.
Oh, we pay roads. I say, oh, the governor has built a road. We build one children's hospital. I say, oh, the governor has built children's hospital. I mean, what are we talking about? These things are things that people in other climes take for granted. They take them for granted. For a given, these things are there. But when we do them here, because we have a false sense of accomplishment, because I'm paying salaries, now I'm paying pensions, I'm doing very well as a governor. It runs through the 36 states of the federation. And because next month again, we'll run to Abuja and share the oil money. So we can never win ourselves of oil dependence. Meanwhile, we understand that 95% of our revenue comes from oil. And yet we are still borrowing money despite that. And the oil is being depleted. We are more of a gas nation than an oil nation. So what are we doing with our gas resources? We are supposed to.
It's being flared.
It's being flared. In Africa, in the West Coast, we are supposed to stand firm and say, okay, we are going to determine the gas policy of West Africa, like Russia does.
Of course.
Like Russia does for Europe, Eastern Europe. They are trying to cut back. They have been trying to cut back, but it is not easy.
Because they depend on him.
Because they depend on Putin.
Yes.
And when you try to do something, well, Putin will just bring out his gas policy, and everybody keeps quiet. So why can't we do that here in Africa? Unfortunately,
we don't have leaders who are very, very futuristic. Because the other day, I asked you a question. Why is that Jokuta Steel Complex still moribund? The biggest steel plant in the whole world. The raw material is there. The raw material, the iron ore at Itakpe is there. Okwi Boku paper mill, the aluminum smelter company. All these things are heavy capital industries. Please, for God's sake, Nigerians and everybody listen. Why is this thing moribund? Is it going to remain like that forever? And we are talking of tokenism. Tokenism. You are building roads, this and that. Do you know the impact of these industries in our economy that you are depending on oil? Look, there is something wrong with Nigeria. This is not a joke. It's not about party thing. Government come, government go. Nobody talking. They are not looking in the direction of these industries. Why? And you are talking of jobless youth all over the place. The biggest steel plant in the whole world. Do you know what it means? What that company will generate for the employment alone. It's unfortunate, seriously.
It is unfortunate.
Very, very unfortunate. Rather, they are looting the little money they get from you. They will loot it, put it in their pocket. Then they abandon all these industries. And you say there's no job, no job. What mistake have we not made, Mr. Okoro? What mistake have we not made as a country? It's unfortunate. Serious. We don't have political leaders. So seriously, they are not thinking of the future generation at all. They don't have any plan for you.
Oh well. Let's move on to another conversation now. Still, there are a few other headlines here. So let's just read and then we'll zero in on one. Yusuf joins APC, flags off party e-registration. As Governor of Kanu. You can't speak truth to power under Tinubu, says Makinde. Bandits ambush police patrol team in Oyo, kill inspector. I take that one again for emphasis. Bandits ambush police patrol team in Oyo, kill inspector. All right, that's a serious story there. Speaks of insecurity. Well, the writers there says 6 kidnapped in Kajuru as Khan holds special prayer for release of 177. PDP chieftain accuses APC of complicity on insecurity. All right, that's the writer to that story. Bandits have killed a police inspector in Oyo State following an ambush on a patrol team at the Budo Mashalashi border post area of the state. The event that happened on Saturday threw the community into pandemonium as security operatives and residents expressed concern over the growing threat of violent attacks in the area. That's basically that story. Broad daylight, actually. Bandits.
They are not
armed robbers.
They are not.
It's different. Yes.
That's the question I wanted to ask. Bandits in Oyo State, where are they coming from? The governor raised an alarm the other time that, look, in fact, Southwest governors, that the Southwest, that there was a surge, that the Southwest was being infiltrated by bandits, and that were fleeing from the Northwest. But at that time, people made light of it. Now, the thing is beginning to manifest. But I like the question that you asked. Are they armed robbers or are they bandits? Who did the classification? Who did the characterization of what they are? Were they captured or what? For us, because if you say they are bandits, then it presents a different kind of challenge for the people of Oyo State. Armed robbery, you could deal with armed robbery as a law and enforcement issue. But when it comes to banditry, it now becomes an issue of terrorism, especially when we have that problem of trying to classify who is a bandit and who is a terrorist.
Who's a terrorist in Nigeria? Barrister.
Yes. My take here is that I want to start with Makinde, who now maybe is now born again. All of a sudden, he can no longer speak to power. But he was the one that worked for Tinubu against his own PDP party. Is that not true? So it is now he realized that you cannot talk to power. He visited Tinubu, and when he came back, his eyes were open.
Let me read this. Let me read it so we get a good understanding of this story. And it's really an interesting one. So, the story reads, the Oyo State Governor, Seyi Makinde, has taken a swipe at President Bola Tinubu, saying it has become difficult to speak truth to power under his government. But former governor of Ekiti State, Ayodele Fayose, claimed that Makinde's comment against Tinubu at former Vice President Yemi Oshibajo's birthday party further confirmed that he got a cold shoulder from the president during his last visit to the villa.
They have not been
And speaking at the function on Saturday at Ibadan, Makinde compared the situation with what he described as a more consultative approach during the tenure of the late President Muhammadu Buhari. The governor said he missed Osinbajo's style of leadership under Buhari. He says, he's quoted as saying, "You cannot speak truth to power in this dispensation," Makinde said, while faulting Tinubu's administration handling of the tax reform bills. He says, "We have the same situation in this dispensation. It was the tax bill, and we said, look, bring the tax bill back. Let us all have an opportunity to look dispassionately at it. They said the tax bill will go ahead. It is an affront on even the governors. The tax bill, we don't know what was passed at the National Assembly. We don't also know what was signed up. When I say I miss you, Osinbajo, I miss you so much, sir." Speaking to Osinbajo at his birthday party. Oh, well.
It's a lie.
What's a lie?
It's a lie that he missed anybody. Osinbajo was not the president. He was just a vice. So what is it?
So he likes his style of
leadership style.
Was he given a chance to lead?
At some point,
yes, he was.
That when Buhari was not when Buhari came back.
Yeah, so he was given a chance.
maybe that's what.
Did he not reverse all he did enough?
No, but at least he had the opportunity to, and he showed.
But what I'm saying that the man is, as always, is being sycophantic.
Who? Sheyi.
In what way will he be? Yes, now Seyi Makinde. Was he not the one that worked against his own party? The five of them, where are they? You can see they have scattered. Their leader Wike can no longer talk. Imagine a Wike for 3 weeks now. He has not issued press statement.
No, Barrister,
that will tell you that
that is not true.
What
That is not true. He has issued statements.
Well, like what?
He has issued statements. The issue, I think, things are falling apart between.
He
visited us to rock.
It was not like that
and
before.
Ayodele Fayose said a lot. He said that when, I don't know whether he was part of the meeting, but he opened the window for us to see what happened, at the meeting. He said that when Seyi walked in, Baba told him, look, well, if you have come to discuss the issue of Oyo State, you are welcome. But if you have come to discuss party politics, please, you step aside, because if it's on party politics, go and, you've been talking on newspaper, so go and continue talking on newspaper. Like he said, well, that there was no agreement that Wike told me, that
those things he said
and all of that. And at that point, Seyi didn't know what to do. He got confused. And the moment he came out, he said his first comment was, "I'm comfortable being in PDP." So this is the angle that Fayose brought to the public. Now, a few days later, we see Seyi come to say, look, in this administration, you cannot speak truth to power. Is it a sudden realization? Well, I wouldn't know better.
He was using the tax issue to cover up.
Okay, so I wouldn't know.
The blunder he committed.
Which blunder is that?
By working against PDP. He worked.
Even if he didn't work against PDP, PDP wouldn't have won the election anyway. So I'm talking about his relationship with the president. It's gone bad. You recall too that the president had at some point apologized to Seyi by saying, "Look, I'm sorry that you are picked for the ministerial slot in Oyo State."
He was not selected.
So he was selected, and we'll make amends. But before they made that amend, I think Seyi had gone public to say, "Look, this is what Wike said," and I told Wike we didn't have that agreement. It's all about party politics. It's all about party politics.
He didn't handle it well, because this was the same people who were fronting for Tinubu. When Seyi was all over the place with the Wike and Otom, what were they thinking?
So what did he handle well? What did he handle well?
That thing he said who asked him, why was he talking like that, as if Wike is the devil here? Himself, was he not in the camp of Wike? Why did he talk as if Wike is the person who is the culprit here? Can't you get the drift? Of course, nobody will like that. Now, you just made Wike look like, but you were with him. Why are you trying to exonerate yourself? That is the issue here. You that kept quiet. After all, what you said does not add up. At the end of the day, what Fayose said is the truth. 30 billion was given to you to pay for people who had a bomb blast or whatever.
50 billion.
So did you pay? Did you?
He said the money is safe.
Okay, safe since that time.
I think 20 billion was used, and the rest is safe.
So those people don't call the people that own the money. What happened to them?
Yes, kept it for
them. Oh,
them.
really? You kept it for them, and they are dying. You can imagine. If not for Fayose, he wouldn't have started paying them like Atlanta. It's not 3 or 2 weeks ago. Atlanta, he started paying the people. So what were you waiting for since that time? The money was for something. Did you use it? The answer is no. Until Fayose raised the alarm, nobody knew.
Okay, let's talk about this the tax bill. You know, it's because it's been mentioned. It's been mentioned quite a lot in the papers today. So, reps split over tax laws as leadership, minority caucus clash ahead of plenary. The riders, House leadership distances chamber from caucus interim report. Minority bloc warns against attempts to downplay alleged alterations. NTPIC begins stakeholder consultation on implementation of new tax acts. Lagos says new tax law allows recovery of unpaid taxes from third-party accounts. Now, allegations that Nigeria's tax reform laws were altered after passage by the National Assembly have triggered fresh tension within the House of Representatives ahead of tomorrow's resumption of plenary, with the leadership and minority caucus locked in a public dispute over legislative authority, due process, and the integrity of lawmaking process. Now, they suggest that it shouldn't be swept under the carpet, the fact that there was an alteration and Nigerians have not been made aware of those alterations to what was passed.
And what they are telling us now is that the guidelines were suspended. You know, that they are trying to make a review. Is that a tacit admission that, look, there was an alteration and they
of
were
course,
working
they say they have agreed that it was altered. And so,
on whose order? On whose order?
Nobody
has taken responsibility.
Nobody has taken responsibility.
Yeah, nobody. It just happened. Maybe the spirits did it.
Well, spirits have been doing a lot.
So that is Nigeria for you.
Or the printer.
Money.
Or the printer.
The devil's the printer's devil.
Do you know my worry? Why is it that this government don't listen to people? Please tell me, why is it that Tinubu does not listen to people? And after the blunder has been committed, you now turn around to look for somebody to blame. Imagine if you had taken time to say, okay, now that the complaint is so high, please, can we look at this thing again? That is what you call leadership. Everything, you must bulldoze your way, even when it will not work.
When you say the president doesn't listen, the president pardoned some people. Nigerians shouted. He did a reversal. He reversed it. So, doesn't he have a listening ear? We are shouting about a tax something. He said, okay, review the guidelines. What else do you need him to do?
After some damage has been done, those people that collected their money before they suspended, what happened to them?
The tax, have they started implementing?
Did you know before?
No, they haven't.
No, they haven't. But people are. They've not started full implementation.
They have not started full implementation. People just...
let me read this.
In January 1st.
Let me read this.
Did not.
Officially, yes.
Officially there was...
The caucus described the alteration as a serious violation of legislative authority and a threat to democratic governance, insisting that provisions not approved by lawmakers were inserted into the laws after passage. According to Ogene, who represents Ogbaru Federal Constituency, the most significant discrepancy were found in the Nigeria Tax Administration Act 2025, where we're reporting thresholds were allegedly lowered. Mandatory deposits were introduced as conditions for tax appeals, and enforcement powers were expanded to include arrest and disposal of seized assets without court orders. So those things were actually inserted.
That is very, very draconian.
The caucus also raised concerns about alleged changes to the National Revenue Service Establishment Act, including the removal of provisions that guarantee the National Assembly's oversight powers.
These are serious matters.
I'm
Very
telling you,
serious
Very
matters.
serious matters because it's a slap.
That means-
it's a slap on the
That means the
legislature.
National Assembly have no oversight.
Very
towards them.
serious matters.
They don't have
There was a
oversight.
part there that removed their power of oversight.
Of oversight.
In fact, that is Nigeria for you.
So
I
this
think-
is so when we talk about state capture, this speaks to state capture. You know, if you have a legislation that you have to bypass to do certain things. Now, the basic question what I should be asking, and I would have been asking up until this moment, we don't have answers. Is at what point did the alteration come into
Take
effect?
place.
Because you see that these things are not typo errors.
No, it
they were
was-
not typographical
it was-
errors.
it was
they
when-
were intentionally, you
yes,
know,
it was intentional.
put into the clauses that were passed, by the National Assembly.
It was after the thing left the National Assembly that
After they had
happened.
gazetted
Yes.
it.
After they had
Yes.
that we discovered.
Yes.
They now slotted in a forged one and probably stamped approval on it.
No,
Yeah.
no, they altered it before now stamping and gazetting it.
It happened with the executive.
So now we are asking the clerk of the National Assembly what happened. The man has not been able to tell Nigerians what happened.
Because it didn't happen within his office now. It happened at the executive level.
No, so he should come and tell us that it didn't happen in his office. He has not done that. He has not done that. That's the problem.
Because nobody asked him.
People have been asking him. He's been asked what happened at what.
By
okay,
who?
they said
By who?
no Nigerians.
By Nigerians?
Yes. No, let me
it's
ask
the
you.
National Assembly that will ask
You
him.
know, you recall that at that point, at some point, Akpabio gave him orders not to release any of the documents.
Yes.
Both the gazetted one and the one that was passed by the House of
altered
by the National Assembly. Akpabio asked him to put on hold, not to release. And when the people went to him, even senators went to him and said, no. He said, I have orders from the Senate.
So it is the National Assembly that will
That
now
should
call him
answer.
to answer questions.
You know?
No, he should be.
No,
made to
I'm
answer.
saying that even senators went to him to say, provide copies of the one that we passed and the one that is gazetted. And he said, look, I have orders from the Senate President not to release any of
That
them.
means Akpabio is covering something too.
That is the point.
Want to cover
That's
his
the
Oga in Asoro.
Akpabio gave him that order. Now, the question is, the guy that blow the lead, you know,
That's okay.
where did he get his own copy? Where did he get his own copy?
The fact remains that the man, what he revealed, is it a fact or
No,
a
no,
false?
government has not even denied it.
So
So it's a fact. Government has not denied it.
that is Nigeria for you. And when you look at this,
And they
now
went on such a long
you
break.
you
37
Such a
days.
long break.
37 days.
and you
37 days.
think of all the other policies and all the other laws they have been
Just before the
making.
commencement of this act, it took 37
a
days.
long break. I work here. I work every day. You work every day, morning to morning. You know, 300 and excepting Saturdays and Sundays, and
work
we are
one-
entitled to only 21 days annual leave, like civil servants. But there, they do plenary.
They work 180 days.
180 days, and they go on 37 days recess. This is not the only recess. So
They will have
record that they will go to recess by
several.
to recess by September, August.
They have
Easter
several.
break.
By July, August, and resume by September. And the moment they resume, what they start talking about is what? The budget. Next year's budget. And you know what goes down with the budget? Put this for me, put this for me, put that for me, put that for me. And when they are doing defenses, you just come and they say, oh, take a bow and leave. Defense has ended. God bless this country.
God bless Nigeria. Oh, well.
Are you
some
not
of
the one that
headlines.
asked for democracy?
Nigeria's democracy excludes many citizens from justice governance. Barrister, what's your reaction?
Yeah, it's becoming a fact now because when we ask for democracy, we thought we are heading somewhere with the rule of law, good governance, due process. But under this dispensation, all those things have been thrown through the window.
Okay.
It's gone.
So, statement from
It's gone.
the secretary of the National Democratic Coalition, ADECO, Ayo Okpadoku,
Okpadoku.
has blamed military, democracy for underdevelopment and poverty. Still speaking about Nigeria's democracy, excluding many citizens from justice and governance.
We are not getting it, and that's the fact. If you look at what has happened with our courts and the judiciary,
So Okpadoku is apparently blaming military, democracy for underdevelopment and poverty. So who should take responsibility? if you blame the military and the democracy. I would rather blame our democracy. I would rather blame our politicians. Because I'm not your run-of-the-mill Democrat, as a matter of fact. I make bold to say it. And I also believe that I like my thoughts with that of Obasanjo, that we should develop our African-style democracy, because there are many variants of democracy. Even the democracy that was practiced in Athens, Greece, back in the day is different from what we practice
have
now.
today. Yeah.
So they have their Asian-style democracy. Well, Lee Kuan Yew will tell you that, look, in as much as I like democracy, but I prefer the living conditions of Singaporeans to get better than their ability to practice their democracy, even in Germany. There was a survey that was conducted. An average German, would prefer his living standards to be better and, his democratic dividends to drop. It's like that in many parts of the world. But here, our problem is that the living standard we are not getting. The democratic dividends we are not getting. So that is where our own problem is compounded.
Our right, we don't have.
We don't have. If you have a governor come to tell you that under this administration that he cannot speak truth to power, at that level, he even has immunity. You can imagine what the ordinary person in the street will pass through. Showore has been in and out of court because he called the president criminal at some point. So why did he call the president criminal? Because the president went to Brazil to tell them that, look, that insecurity has been completely eliminated in Nigeria. And Showore said what he said. And he's been visiting the court. DSS is after him. It's a lot for us as a people. So I would rather blame our democracy than our military, because we had it under a military regime. You understand that, look, this is under a military regime, and there are certain things that you do not do. But even under the democracy now, you still cannot do some of those things. And your economy, your living standard is not even better. If you do compare notes between the military and the civilians, we will discover that the military governments have done more for Nigerians in terms of infrastructure. Exactly, if you look at the flagship infrastructure,
the 36 states were created by the military.
By the military. If you look at the physical infrastructure, the whole of a better part of what we have in Lagos now, talking about the Qatar Bridge, the Eko Bridge, the Third Mainland Bridge, was built by the military. Look at the FCT itself; it was built by the military. You understand? So, if you look at all of these infrastructure, in terms of infrastructure, military, look at what PTF did. Look at what Abacha did with PTF. Thousands of kilometers of road were constructed. But here we are running from pillar to post. When somebody pays salary, say, "Oh, I've paid salary for this month," and he expects you to clap hands for him. That is what we have now in democracy.
Oh yes.
Have we ever asked ourselves this question? For the 5 years that Abacha was head of state and commander-in-chief of the armed forces in Nigeria, dollar didn't shift
at all.
So what magic did he have?
At all. The man was the magic. At least the stealing was only himself. No other person dare steal any money. The stealing was only, but here, all manner of buccaneers were leeching on our resources, our money. And that compounded our problem. The military, even though they are corrupt, but it is limited. It is a closed circle. But here is an all-commerce affair. Anybody giving appointment
from so Barrister, looting and democracy and corruption have been democratized.
I'm telling you, it has been liberalized.
Democratized.
I'm telling
so
you.
that everybody is a participant.
Exactly. That's the problem here. That's the problem here.
All right. How Olubadan, Oni, Olugbon, others secured pardon for Igboho, and Shell, why we are investing $20 billion in Nigeria. You need to find out more. And then this particular story, tension in Anambra as government bans Monday seat at home. I would like to go a little deeper into that headline. Where is it? Okay, here it is. So the Anambra state government recent ban on the Monday seat at home order of the indigenous people of Biafra has elicited tension in the state. Now, we hear that the unease is not unconnected to some residents' sympathy with the proscribed group's civil disobedience, coupled with IPOB's pushback against government's directive. Now, but responding to the move by the state government, IPOB insists that Monday's sit at home was a civil disobedience, stressing that no governor has lawful power to compel citizens to open their businesses or move about against their will. It added that any task force against the continued sit at home by those willing to do so would amount to an illegal provocation. Now, the Anambra state government has proposed 757 billion naira for its 2026 fiscal year. The amount is the smallest compared to other states in the region. Of the amount, it intends to raise 60 billion naira internally, about 12.7% of the budget. Many had doubted the state's ability to realize the proposed fiscal plan amid the continued sit at home on Mondays.
Well, so many talking points. Before you say something the government has banned, was the government, did the government at any point?
Was it the government that placed the ban?
You know, that placed the ban, that you have to, you know, that made the approval that you have to now leave, say you have banned. That is one thing. Anambra State happens to be the epicenter of the sit at home, you know, because while the sit at home was in place, I spent a bit of time in Umuahia, you know, the Abia State capital, where Nnamdi Kanu come from in the first place. And it wasn't effective. After like 3, 4, at maximum 6 months, students started going back to school. You know, the only thing happened was that in offices, government offices, there were skeletal services. Banks were not opening, but now banks open. And in Enugu, it was a natural die down, you know. Peter Mba, when he came in, he tried one or two things.
Force, yeah.
And there was a pushback where I think about 3 or 4 people were killed, and he kept quiet. You know, but one funny thing, his own filling station, you know, what is the name of that filling station again? When he said people should come out, you know, that sit at home is ended and all of that, he used armored tanks to go and protect his own filling station. You know, and people were saying, look at the man that is asking us to come out, and he's using armored tanks to protect his own filling station. Sure. You know, and people just, you know, went about their normal businesses. I think the major markets in Enugu now, Ogbete, you know, Kenyatta, they open, but schools, students go to school. Businesses, private businesses are open, you know, in Enugu. And if you go to, I think in parts of Imo State, Osu or Oru local government, where the governor comes from, you know, that's another flashpoint of insecurity. You know, so sit at home is effective there. And in Anambra State, the main market, you know, how emotional and sentimental our people have become with the issue of IPOB and all of that. So Onitsha is no-go area. In Abia State, you know, you have intra-state movement. It's when it gets to interstate that it becomes a problem. But from 2, 3, vehicles start moving to all parts of the southeast from Abia State, you know. And in Ebonyi State, it used to be very tough, you know, during the days of Devu Mahi. But with this man, I think it is a little bit relaxed. So the issue, Anambra is the epicenter of it all. So I think Chukwu Masoludo knows what he's talking about. I don't know how he's going to deal with it, because ordinary official ban, you know, of money sit at home is not going to solve the problem. Like I told you the other day, people in the southeast, they use Monday to Saturday, you know, to go to market, especially people in Onitsha main market and other markets, or Chanja and all of that. They use Monday to Saturday to go to market. And on Sunday, they go for town meetings, weddings and all of that.
That's after church now.
After church. So they don't even have a rest day. So when this issue of Monday sit at home came, people bought into it. At least we can rest on Mondays, you know. So, because I have a cousin who said, thank God for this sit at home, at least I can rest on. Because he is aware that his shop is locked, the neighbor shop is locked, the competitor's shop is locked.
So nobody's making the
nobody's making the money. Unlike where he decides not to open on Saturday because he wants to rest, and another person opens. They will simply take his customers from him.
But now it is not uniform. Some states still open shops on Monday.
No, I'm talking about.
Same state, same market.
Same state, same market.
But it's not, since it's not uniform or general. Then some people are losing out, while some are gaining.
Okay.
And that's why I think that IPOB should slow down now, because now they can't.
IPOB slowing down. IPOB has said several times that, look, we are not the ones behind this money.
But with what you are hearing now,
Well, this statement kind of changes grounds.
So
you can't compel people, allow people to sit at home if they want to.
No, okay. Look, read between the lines in that you can't compel people, to sit at home.
That's me
but IPOB is not saying you must sit at home, but they are telling the government, if people choose to stay at home, you don't have the right to force them.
Okay, let me read the statement signed by the Media and Publicity Secretary, of IPOB. He warned Soludo to stop threatening India Anambra and Indibo, stressing that the people are not his enemies and that his duty is to protect them, not punish them. The statement added that Soludo should be the first to recognize the elementary democratic principle called civil disobedience, a peaceful refusal to cooperate with policies and conditions viewed as unjust. It added, if businessmen, traders, students, professionals, elders, and youths voluntarily choose to sit at home on Mondays as a silent protest against the continued detention and persecution of Nnamdi Kanu, that is their right. It is not a crime. It is not rebellion. It is not an offense.
You understand the position of IPOB. The operational word there is choose to. They are not saying you must. It's like Moses, I don't want to go to work. He said I must go to work.
And they're also saying don't threaten people to come out.
Exactly the point. I think.
But how then do we get businesses to?
Chukuma is on learning too. When he became governor, the moment they declared him winner, the following day he said, "Sit at home ended. If you had a contract to collect levy for Anambra state government, it has ended." Before he was sworn into office, and there was a pushback. The moment he made that statement, there was a spike, in the sit at home. A lot of people. That was when this Ihiala issue,
insecurity.
Yes, and insecurity. It got to, it got to a head in Anambra State because of that statement. So they wanted to tell him that, look, you don't have the right to police people against their will. I think that is what they are reiterating now. And he's making this mistake of having to say, I have banned sit at home. He should look for another way. He should look for, Zipazo in Abia State. When the sit at home of a thing started, he just quietly, gave space. Nobody asked those boys to fizzle out. The government didn't try to come and say, oh, you must. Like Ugwai did the same thing. Ugwai just barricaded the government house in Enugu and allowed the thing to die down, a natural death. But because he came, smoking fire, the people said, oh, okay, violence begets violence. The people said, oh, okay, this is what you want. Now let us try. It was in that conflagration that a lot of people, were caught in the crossfires. The unknown gunmen took advantage, of that is threat to say, unleash mayhem on Anambra State. And it was the IPOB that was doing all of that. IPOB said, well, we are not the ones, but we are still saying that you cannot force people not to stay at home if they wish to. It's like freedom of movement too.
I know that this thing will continue until Nnamdi Kanu is released, because it is now become a thing of the mind, not verbal rhetorics like the governors have been making noise all over the place. It is now become a thing of the mind. People now see Nnamdi Kanu as a freedom fighter. So that mindset is there. IPOB have become what I would call a mantra for every Igbo. If you do opinion poll today, 80% of the people are in support of Nnamdi Kanu and IPOB.
In the Southeast, right?
In the South, yes. So how do you discountenance that? That's what the governors should do. They should come together and address the issues involved, so that this sit at home, it will be uniform. Whether they want to stop it, it will be uniform. Whether they want to, it will be uniform. That is the only way it will have effect. But when one state is doing it, the other state is not doing it. It is not open.
But in terms of security architecture, the Southeast governors, they are not together now.
So it is open to all. It has become an all-commerce affair, especially with party loyalty and all that. It's a very, it's not the best way to handle a situation, because you are leading a people. You must work in tandem with what they want. If not, you will miss it. That's just the truth.
All right. This will be a good place to anchor the conversation. But let me just take a few more headlines here. Unilag honors Wale Tinubu for contributions to nation building. And also, 2027 battle, Kanu earthquake as Yusuf dumps opposition for APC. NNPP senator attacks FG over Kanu governor's defection. PDP, ADC others slam move as moral collapse, not political gain. Well, U.S. exports to Nigeria jumped 60% amid Trump tariff. There you have it. Those are the headlines, and conversations in the coming days will be around some of these headlines here. But that's it on the show. Big thanks to Barrister Darlington Agomo and Chukwuma Okoro, who makes a comeback later tonight at 6 p.m. on Political Lens.
And I will return here with Barrister Darlington Agomo. I'll travel around Nigeria to bring you interesting political stories. Join us then. Promises to be quite interesting.
All right, there you have it. And that's it on the show today. Sports comes up next. I'm Moses Humphrey. Bye for now.
In a world where power shifts its every headlines, news breaks and events happens, we bring you unbiased and explicit information on politics, economy and state of the nation. We break down the chaos. Facts, not fluff. Truth, not spin. We discuss not just politics, but a glimpse into the future. Voice of the People Television. Now you have more than a voice.
Behind every broken desk lies a broken promise. Education shapes the nations. But who is asking the right questions? Introducing Edu Dialogue, the show that goes beyond the surface, exposes the cracks